And now, please welcome the first of our many amazing guests, Peter Werner. He's going to tell you what is Ignite.
Good evening. My name is Peter Werner, and I was an Ignite Bend 6 presenter, and I monologued on understanding your credit. And tonight I'm going to talk about what is Ignite. But first, pay attention as I begin to recap, putting words and ideas stacked back to back. Just a couple of things about credit. Credit that's your street cred. I mean, that's your reputation. That's the way lenders judge you as a risk. So there's a couple points there to remember from the presentation. Also, grab your crotch when you're wearing nylon jumpsuits. Another key takeaway is your credit capacity. How you use your capacity is one of the big drivers of your credit score. So if you're consuming quite a bit of your capacity, that's bad, and it might reflect in a lower score. So try to avoid that. And the reason I felt it was important to present on this is because we don't teach this in school. We don't talk about this at all. So I felt that Ignite Bend was a great way to reach a number of people all at the same time in a friendly environment, I guess. But what is Ignite? Well, the first rule of Ignite Bend is you must talk about Ignite Bend. The second rule of Ignite Bend is you must talk about Ignite Bend. Because, why? Because it's exciting, isn't it? And if you're not excited about something to the level where you will get up here and present, or to the level where you'll show up for free to the Tower Theater and get excited about something, what are we doing? There's nothing much exciting in life. So in that respect, Ignite Bend will go on as long as it has to. As long as there are presenters willing to present something of value to the audience, and as long as we have volunteers to do it, Ignite will go on. Because what we're trying to do is reach each other. If we can find each other. And Ignite Bend is the best way to do that without having to fill out an online dating profile. So if you're here and ready to be engaged, then the speakers are here ready to engage you. And what that results in is an opportunity for all of us. And the opportunity is for me to be educated by people who know more than me on a particular topic, and that's for all of us. And the opportunity to get up and say something can be huge for some people. And as Morrissey once sang, any fool can think up words that rhyme. But what he meant was those who want to sing their life go one step further than just connecting rhyming words. And that was Jeanette in Ignite Bend 4, who actually sang on stage for us to show that she had confidence, to show that she could take a risk and accomplish this in front of a bunch of strangers. So I turned to my own cats for help, and my own cats said, hey, we're all about supporting each other, right? And that's what Ignite Bend is. The speakers, knowledgeable in their topic, supporting other people who want to know more and be excited. Bill Warburton in the last Ignite proved evolution. What he proved was that mountain bikes did not just rise out of the dirt. They didn't just come out of the dirt. They evolved from road biking and track biking. Thank you. So what is Ignite? 10 people, 20 slides, 5 minutes. Great for people with a short attention span who want to get the nuggets of wisdom, glean it, and get out right away. And here's what we want. Well, she's a little too dangerous, but what we want an audience who's ready to listen. We want presenters who are prepared and ready to speak. We want the community to stay involved, volunteers and people who are part of it. And once you just sit on your ass all the time, what is there? So get up. Come to the Tower Theater, present, be a part of what's going on, even if it's just for one night. Just like the Trabant brought the East Germans into the West and fouled the air when they did it, and now we have the wind turbine clean energy that's going to clean up all the air that they soiled. Ignite Bend is an achievement point. It's a rallying point for us to fill an empty theater for free. They sell beer in the back, I guess. And for all of us to have fun and engage each other. But really, the final analysis on Ignite Bend is that it's our Ignite. It's our town. This is our community. These are our friends and our citizens who want to hear from each other, and we're going to have fun. We're slightly inebriated, so it's all good. And so if there's anything I would leave you with this evening, it's that it's all about the community, and if this is your first night at Ignite Bend, you have to ignite. Thank you.
This is the longest minute of the whole presentation. Hi, everybody. My name is April, and tonight I'm here to talk to you about feminism. This talk has been marinating in my brain for a while because it feels like there are really a relative few amount of people who like to claim that label when they describe themselves. For me, feminism started brewing when I grew up in Michigan. In Holland, I started questioning traditional gender roles. In Kalamazoo, I went to college where I learned to apply a feminist lens to pretty much everything from Victorian literature to Victoria's Secret. And in Ann Arbor, I went to grad school and really solidified my progressive values. So what exactly is feminism? Well, one simple definition would be that a feminist is a person who answers yes to the question, are women human? Well, feminism is about women having intrinsic value as persons and recognizing all of their experiences. So feminism got women the right to vote. It's moving towards workplace equality, the opening of other social structures for women. So we're good now, right? Everything's been fixed. Why does it even matter anymore? Well, this is one mindset that puts up a big boundary to modern feminism. And we have to deal with stereotypes. I mean, this sign pretty much says it all. So it's not to say that if you were to peek under my pant leg in the middle of January, you wouldn't find a lot of fuzz, but these stereotypes come from fear and insecurity of strong women. We're also dealing with a bit of backlash. We get choice feminism, where as a woman, any decision I make is inherently feminist. That means I can choose to support equality for women, or I can opt out. And some people think that's what feminism has earned them. That logic is a little faulty. Just take the Equal Rights Amendment. It's been brought up by Congress every year since 1982, but has not been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution. Why are we fighting for this? Why has it not been added? Another bit of policy that I learned about is the CEDAW. What a great name. The Convention to End Discrimination Against Women is a short term for it. The United States is the only developed country that has not signed on to this treaty, and I think that's shameful. Boo is right. And that brings us to the fact that feminism is more than just the United States or developed countries. We need to look to countries all around the world who have women who are severely oppressed by all kinds of economic barriers, educational barriers. And as a feminist, I believe that women around the world deserve all the rights that we can give them. If you need proof that the patriarchy is still going in society today, take a look at this t-shirt. I'm too pretty to do homework, so my brother has to do it for me. Dislike. Thankfully, it was taken off shelves by a bunch of angry feminists, so that's good news. If anybody's read A Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, it is a scary story set in the not-too-distant future where the patriarchy has taken over society after an apocalyptic event. It makes you think about what we'd miss if it's taken away. So this is all kind of sad and scary, but don't worry, there are lots of ways you can be a feminist superhero. Just look at on Twitter, the feminist Hulk. He's ready to smash the patriarchy. It's one of my favorite posts by him. So to get started being your own feminist superhero, you can educate yourself. These are some of my favorite print resources and a couple of websites, along with the Amelia Bloomer Project, which is a book list that focuses on feminist books for children and teens to help combat those media messages. Once you're all fired up, you're going to start speaking up. You're going to let friends know that you're not going to take their sexist crap anymore. You are going to use the F word, and somebody may say, you're not very funny, you don't have a lot of humor, what's up with you feminists? But I have used lolcats in this presentation, so obviously feminists can be funny. If you're ready to take the next step, it's time to start writing letters and making donations if you can. Every little bit helps. There are tons of online letters that you can submit to your legislators to get them to support the ERA, the CEDAW. You can spend your money wisely. Economic development is a huge part in lifting oppression for women around the world. So find local women-run organizations and businesses. Support global organizations that find work for women around the world. And here we go. Look at that cat. Deconstructing the Barbie ideal. Loving your body is in itself a feminist action, and it's okay if it takes practice. Just remember, every time you say something bad about yourself, a kitten dies. This all comes down to being a role model. Let's show our students, our kids, everybody in our life, male or female, that being a feminist isn't scary. It may be a little hairy sometimes, but that's okay. But it's all about speaking up, being strong, and being okay with that. So feminism is usually referred to in waves, first, second, third. As we move forward in the 21st century, we're looking at feminism as taking more of a role in the online sphere. We're including our good friend men in the feminist movement. So the fourth wave, it's upon us. I hope that today my talk has gotten you excited about feminism and that you can all say it with me. Say it loud. I'm feminist and I'm proud. I'm a librarian downtown. Come talk with me if you need some more help with feminism. Thanks.
Friended. You've probably all had that experience of being friended by someone out of the blue, someone you're not sure you know or at one time barely knew. When that happens to me, sometimes I think, ooh, just my luck. We're better friends now than those with benefits who get to get coffee. It usually happens from the top of the heap of social networking today through Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, MySpace, and the Plus. But now it's no fuss for us to stay connected to the human race. I'll read their invitation and ponder to myself, do you know me? No, which isn't so. There never was a time that I was more than just a face in a crowd. But now there is a place, a space to connect with those I never connected with before, a place to see a face that was never more than just a face in the crowd. And yet now you have friended me. Then often I'll look closer at the picture and think, wait, yes, I know you. I mean, I knew you back in high school a millennia back. I know I see you change your status to single because your ex-husband is now dating your Uncle JJ. That should make for an interesting holiday. And yes, your glamour shots do look spectacular. Did you apply that makeup with a roller, paint, and spatula? And then I'll see their latest update. OMG, I totally regret that drunken night at karaoke so I can't vomit. Or OFL. And after I've gleaned all that information, those facts from their page, how close am I to really knowing them and do I want to? Even so, we will get those invites because social networking is exploding exponentially. MySpace has the one user, Justin Timberlake. Google's Plus, 35 million. LinkedIn, 120. Twitter, 200. Facebook, 800 million users. Social networks are growing by leaps and bounds, and with a big market share still untapped because we live on a planet of nearly 7 billion. Of those, over 2 billion are plugged in like copper tops to the net. And of those, over 1 billion on social network sites, many of them habitually. Some of my smoker friends roll out of bed every morning and they got to have a light, and it's the last thing they do before they tuck in at night. For many Facebookers, about 30%, Facebook is the habit they tune into every morning and tune out to every night. The good news is their lungs aren't burning, there's no cancer, so it's a habit they don't want to fight. Why stomp out, on top of that, the best source of juicy gossip on the planet? It's not just the trash on the celebrities, but on those they've friended. Why kick a habit that slams others and makes us feel so doggone splendoricious? However, those friendships fit into a different category in our life, the category of disposable. And since we don't really know them, that seems reasonable. For many hip and happening social media users, though, about 57%, it is their preferred mode of connection with other human beings. Does that make them disposable? It seems social media has me and so many more, maybe you, glued to the screens of our Toshiba, Dell, Sony, and Macs. Therefore, the question might be, do we lack the ability to actually interact with the real people sitting next to us in the coffee house? Our eyes unable to focus on those with beating hearts, sipping cappuccinos by our sides because we are tied, bound, and wound to the almost personas, the maybe-me's we have put out in the WWC. I gotta be honest, I found myself at times, perhaps you have too, unable to pull myself away from some random friend. The one with a nefarious mustache, and as I peruse her wild adventures in Cancun, I find her quite mysterious and maybe a bit hot, if not for the luxurious forest of follicles on her upper labium superius, which makes me reflect at the desperate measures we now take to connect what is at stake. Perhaps it's not as bad as all that, but 1 billion users growing daily might be an epidemic. Will I quit? Hell no. I'm an addict. Can it be good for you? Hell yes. There's still a few more uses than users. However, one thing that is slowly happening is that the more we connect with the net, the less we actually connect with the real human beings. So I ask, can we jumpstart our brains, rewire our minds, and reimagine what true connection is in a world where people prefer to see the maybe me I want them to see? For some out there, their lives seem more interesting in 140 characters or less. It is ordered, simple. There is no chaos. There is no mess. And if there is a mess, it can be manageable and maybe even just a little juicy and fun. Consequently, I'm haunted by this question. Have I allowed myself to be managed and manipulated so that the time I waste on a visual taste of people who are just a face in a crowd of pixels on a screen, a scene that brings me only closer to the persona of the maybe me we want to be, the maybe me we want all others to see? In order to really be friended, really extended, we have to really connect to the beings beyond the faces in the Facebook, the spaces in MySpace, between the tweets that we think have connected us to the race of man, because real connection requires real contact with real human beings. Beyond the web and beyond the clickety-clack of fingers on a keyboard, but all the way to the touch of hand-to-hand contact with screens closed down, real face to real face. That is the challenge, being willing to leave that inner space that takes no space, but the precious space of time in our lives, beyond the doing, to actually being together. Beyond the maybe you and the maybe me, to where it means something when we have befriended one another. Befriended each other.
Hello. Hi, I'm here to talk about how to swim with dangerous sharks and not get eaten. I've been scuba diving with sharks for the last 10 years, a PADI dive master, and here to share some of my photography and useful tips in the water. So you may not know, but only a handful of people die from sharks a year, and you're 3 times more likely to die from a falling coconut or a vending machine. So, you can see here, this guy wasn't too lucky. So I definitely would watch out if you're trying to get a candy bar. So you may be wondering why so many people have this fear of sharks. And it's really because of a mechanical shark in this movie named Jaws. Everybody sings the theme song every single time they hear, I'm going to go on a shark dive. And they freak out, and they just think I'm going to come back eaten and marred. So here is a list of the top 5 most dangerous sharks with only a handful of people actually dying. And here is where I have gone to swim with them, as well as the age that I swam with them. So, since I'm still here, I'm still living. So you may be wondering which shark was the most shy. And I actually found it was the great white. It's the most feared shark, but I found that they were the most docile. And as they would swim up to us, they would just cruise and just chill. You kind of felt like you were doing yoga with the sharks underwater. So you may be wondering, what was the most curious shark? And it was definitely by far the tiger shark. They were definitely coming up. They were getting close with us. It definitely loved to come right eye to eye and then graze right by you. So you may be thinking, how am I still here? There I am to the right, taking a picture of that tiger shark, yes, without a cage. And so you may be thinking, I'm crazy, I'm nuts, I must have a death wish. But actually, I don't. I think these sharks are just beautiful. I love getting up and close and taking pictures of them. And they're wonderful, graceful, and beautiful creatures. So we took this trip to the Bahamas and spent a full week out there diving with them at night, during the day. There I am underneath one. There's a photo I shot to the left. And we were okay. So there's a few tips that you need to know if you do want to try partaking in this type of activity. So what I would love for you to do is be smart about where you're diving. Ask local divers. Talk to the dive shops. And find out what sharks are in the water, how they react to divers, and maybe what you need to do. Also wear practical clothing. Stay away from silver, white, yellow. Yellow in diving circles is known as yum, yum, yellow. So if you see a pair of yellow fins at the dive store and you want to go on a shark dive, just say no. So wear dull clothing. Wear gloves. If you have like white things, it's going to definitely attract them. So also get underwater. When you're on top of the water, that's where dead fish are. So if you're up there, that's where they want to eat. So get underwater. Look at them. So also, you got to stay calm. And I know it's hard for me to stay calm up here, but underwater, you have to stay calm. You have to look them in the eye. You have to chill. If you start swimming away, that's the wrong thing to do. You got to look them in the eye constantly and breathe and lower your heart rate. So also, we have to utilize teamwork. Underwater, we constantly have to be looking at the sharks, looking them in the eye. One time I had a shark coming right behind my head, and the other divers had to signal me for me to turn around and look at it in the eye. So we're always keeping our eyes on the sharks because as long as you're looking at them, they know that you're looking at them. So I did have a close encounter when the bait box was opened 4 feet in front of me, and the shark started kind of getting crazy and came straight for me and actually bumped me out of the way and started to circle me. So I had to circle with it, keep my eye on it, and as a team, Wolfgang Leander actually swam down and he hand-fed it a fish, and he started to pet her, and she was chill. So I have survived a scary experience with a dangerous shark. So there are a few shark myths. You may think if you are on your period that you cannot get in the water. From experience, you're going to be okay. Sharks, if they bite off a hand, they usually spit it out. They don't really like the taste of us. So you may be concerned about how many sharks are eating humans, but it's only a handful a year, whereas really 9,127 sharks are being murdered by people every hour. So their shark fins are being cut off, they're being thrown back in the ocean. They may take hours or even days where they're just dying in the ocean, and it makes me really sad. So what can you do? You cannot buy shark skulls or teeth or being sold on the street. You can spread the word and not partake in shark fin soup. So I hope I was able to share what glorious creatures they are and stay away from vending machines and coconuts.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name's Sam Palacio. First thing I got to do, I got to thank all of you for having me here this evening. Super excited to be here. I want to start off by talking a little bit about our families. Because I don't care who you are, every single one of us has that one relative that we never talk about. For good reason, too. Because sometimes they can just be plain weird. Plain weird. I mean, we all know it's awkward when you run into Uncle Kenny at the grocery store. Especially when you have to tell him to put his pants on again. Where you at, Kenny? Yeah, dear God. Somebody's got to tell him there's not enough bronzer in the world that's going to help him win Mr. Universe. I mean, but is it really that bad? I mean, sure, he may not be the finest specimen in the world, but what about that family that we never knew that we had? I'm talking about that long-lost sister, a world and a half away, the one completely different from ourselves, yet at the same time, family all the same. I don't think your parents told you about her when you were growing up, but I'd like to introduce you. Bend, meet Condega. Condega, meet Bend. It's been too long, but it's my honor to introduce you to your sister city and also your brothers and your sisters. I'm talking about people with the same minds, the same hearts, the same hands. People who are just waiting to share their entire world with you and excited to learn about our own. But why? I think Mark Twain puts it best when he says that travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness. Might have screwed that up, who cares? But why Condega? Because developing relationships enriches that travel experience. And we could do just that. We could open our minds to a new world, engage ourselves in conversation we never knew existed, and all we have to do is travel all the way down there to Nicaragua. Now, to learn more about Nicaragua, all we got to do is talk about where it's been. Since its very beginning until the 1970s, Nicaragua has been ruled by the few and by the rich. And see, it's not until the 1972, in which an earthquake leaves thousands dead, the poor, and the rich even richer after they use the federal relief money. And at that point, the people rise up, and they take the name of the Sandinistas. The Sandinistas are named after one of the most famous rebels, Augusto Sandino. And together, they overthrow the government after a long and hard-fought civil war, and that is where the Sandinistas, the People's Party, remain in power to this very day. Now, at the very forefront of this entire conflict, we have the quaint little town of Condega, nestled in the beautiful valleys and the mountains of the northwestern region of Nicaragua. Now, I see Condega, founded in the 1700s, quickly became an important center for the transit of gold, agriculture, and wood. It also served as a key role during the Civil War as a Sandinista stronghold. And on these streets, we're not going to find cars everywhere. We're going to find bicyclists, and pedestrians. Okay, imagine, fantastic. Hey, calm down. Now, imagine a place where old traditions and values remain rooted. They remain the backbone of the community. A place where a potter, a farmer, a sculptor drives the economy. A place where the people are as humble as they are warm and welcoming. People who value family, relationships, and just like Bendites, the quality of life. Amen, right? And so many are going to ask, well, why go? We go because it's a place where we are liberated to simply just be. To engage ourselves in conversations that we never saw ourselves having. To find common ground in something as simple as an idea or a thought. To find something in common in something as pure as a smile. And to be honest, you don't have to. We don't have to take this opportunity, and I swear we'd be absolutely fine. But my friends, we could be great. We can open our minds. We can seize this opportunity. We can lose ourselves and find something that we never even knew existed. See, that is the promise that our sister city offers us. We invite you to take part in it. So the next time you travel, lose yourself and find your family. Thank you very much, guys.